Today was their last witness that they brought to the stand in the case against Paul and Ruben Flores.
Paul Flores waking up behind bars, accused of murdering college student Kristin Smart nearly 25 years ago.
College girl who never came home is solved. Kristin Smart cold case. Kristin Smart, a 19-year-old college freshman, disappeared after a party at California Polytechnic State University on Memorial Day weekend, 1996. When Kristin Smart vanished, 8-year-old Chris Lambert was in the area. He published the podcast, Your Own Backyard, that was centered on her disappearance 22 years later. The case's appeal was revived by this podcast. Denise Smart received a phone call from the campus police at Cal Poly 2 days after her daughter vanished. She was informed that Kristin had not been seen all weekend and inquired as to whether Kristin was present. Margarita Campos and other concerned friends reported Kristin Smart missing to campus police, but they were disregarded because they believed she was out having fun. Kristin had been missing for 4 days when the Cal Poly police started their investigation. The night of the party, Paul Flores escorted Kristin home. Although he was the last person to see Kristin, investigators didn't formally interrogate him until 6 days later. After accompanying Kristin home from the party, according to Paul Flores, he allegedly proceeded to his room in Santa Lucia Hall by himself. 4 different corpse dogs responded to Paul's room when several trained cadaver dogs were sent in to search the Cal Poly hostel. The Smart family claims that although authorities took their time looking into Paul Flores, they were quick to judge Kristin. Days after she vanished, college police reported the following in an incident report. At Cal Poly, Smart doesn't have any close pals. On Friday night, Smart seemed to be under the influence of drink. At the party, Smart engaged in conversation and social interaction with a variety of males. Paul Flores visited the Rio Grande Police Department due to an outstanding DUI warrant 2 days after Kristin vanished. Paul Flores had been suspected for the murder for some time. When investigators spoke with him, he was sporting a black eye. According to court documents, he claimed that he acquired it while playing basketball with pals, but his friends refuted this claim. Later, he amended his account to claim that he had bumped his head while repairing his car. The girl who knew Paul Flores at Cal Poly spoke highly of him. He was infamous for molesting women, earning the moniker Chester the Molester. Kristin's angry parents hired a lawyer who then accused Paul Flores of causing her death. Flores remained silent throughout the 1997 deposition of the civil lawsuit. He would just confirm his name on the recording. 27 times he cited the Fifth Amendment. Mary Lassiter was residing in Paul Flores' mother's Rio Grande home in October 1996 when she discovered a woman's earrings. She claims that one of the missing posters featured Kristin wearing a necklace that appeared to match the jewelry. The earring was given to detectives, but before it could be tagged as evidence, it vanished. Widespread rumors had centered on Susan Flores' property. Police did not immediately search the house when Kristin vanished. No proof has ever been discovered, despite the backyard having been examined 3 times over the past 2 decades. Smart's body has never been located by authorities. In 2002, she was formally pronounced deceased. Sheriff Ian Parkinson of San Luis Obispo County was sworn into office in 2011. He assured the Smarts that cracking the case of Kristin would be his first priority. The department has carried out 23 search warrants, 96 different interviews, and gathered 258 extra pieces of evidence since Parkinson took over. A local reporter's 2019 true crime podcast on Smart's disappearance had rekindled interest in the case. Even though Paul Flores was questioned by detectives right away after the slaying, he wasn't initially detained or charged. Authorities executed search warrants on homes connected to Paul Flores and his family in 2020. Paul Flores remains the only suspect in Kristin's disappearance more than 2 decades after she vanished. Jonathan Vigliotti, a CBS News correspondent, sought out Flores to learn what happened to Kristin Smart. Over the last 2 years, investigators have focused their attention on Ruben Flores' house in Rio Grande, which is 12 miles or 20 kilometers south of Cal Poly. Over the past 2 decades, investigators conducted thousands of fruitless searches for Smart's remains. Archaeologists working for the police discovered a soil disturbance the size of a coffin and the presence of human blood in March 2021 under latticework beneath the deck of his enormous home on a dead-end street, according to the prosecution. To obtain a DNA sample from the blood would have been impossible. Although a blood expert confirmed it was human blood, the test employed did not completely rule out the possibility that it had come from an ape or a ferret, even though court documents said that no traces of either species had been discovered there. Authorities searched Ruben Flores' house in March 2021. In the yard, biological evidence was discovered beneath a deck. Robert Sanagar, the son's defense lawyer, attempted to implicate a third party by pointing out that Scott Peterson, who was later found guilty in a high-profile trial of killing his pregnant wife, and the fetus she was carrying, was also a Cal Poly student at the time. At his closing remarks, Sanagar informed the jury that there had been no attempted rape, and he questioned witness testimony, including that of a student who was in Smart's dorm and claimed to have seen Paul Flores in Smart's room. In addition, he called the prosecution's forensic evidence junk science. Paul and his father Ruben Flores were arrested in April 2021. Ruben was accused with being an accessory after the fact, while Paul was charged with murder. Prosecutors now contend that Paul Flores, now 45, killed the 19-year-old on May 25, 1996, during an attempted rape in the first-year student's dorm room at Cal Poly. As he took Smart home from an off-campus party where she grew intoxicated, he was the last person to be seen with her. In a nearby village of Rio Grande, his father, who is now 81, was charged with helping bury Smart behind his house before later excavating and transferring the body. He was cleared of these accusations by a jury. The contradicting verdicts were announced in the same courtroom seconds apart. Both the father and the son entered not guilty pleas in San Luis Obispo County Superior Court over a week after their arrests. Paul Flores was held without being released on bail. After a judge agreed to reduce the bail amount from $250,000 to $50,000, Ruben Flores was able to post bail. Opening arguments have started in the trial of Paul and Ruben Flores at Monterey County Superior Court more than 26 years after Kristin Smart went missing. 2 jurors were seated, 1 per defendant. Following a 3-month trial, a jury found Paul Flores guilty of killing Kristin Smart. His father, Ruben Flores, who was accused of aiding in the crime's cover-up and was tried as an accessory, was found not guilty by a different jury, according to the Tribune. Shortly after, Kristin Smart's father, Stan, spoke to the media and said, "This has been an astonishingly long journey with more downs than ups." He stated, "Without Kristin, there is no joy or happiness in this verdict. After 26 years, we learned that our request for justice for Kristin will continue." When the guilty verdict was announced, Paul Flores remained silent, according to NBC affiliate KSBY in San Luis Obispo. Behind him in the chair stood his father, who showed no expression. Many of Smart's family members were present in the courtroom, and as the findings were announced, her mother and sister sobbed for a while. Dan Doe, the district attorney for San Luis Obispo County, stated that justice delayed is not justice denied today. After the court's final decision, Ruben Flores declared outside that neither he nor his son had any proof against him. He replied, "We have no idea what happened to their daughter." Sheriff of San Luis Obispo County, Ian Parkinson, admitted mistakes made by investigators over time and gave Your Own Backyard, a well-known podcast about Smart's disappearance, credit for helping to uncover information and motivating witnesses to come forward. According to KSBY, Paul Flores' sentencing is slated for December 9th. The Kristin Smart Scholarship is one way the Smarts honor their late daughter. Its objective is to support young women in pursuing their aspirations and making an influence on the world in the same way as Kristin hoped to. With that, we have come to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also press the bell icon so you can watch the upcoming videos. Also, share your thoughts in the comment box.